you do to stay creative?
Listen, I'll be straight up honest. Like, I was a little street kid. I wasn't getting into trouble, but I was with a crowd that
Maybe got into some trouble?
yeah, a little bit. And cooking came in and saved me from that. My phone rings, a guy that knew of me and knew me. And he's like, hey, I have an opportunity in Boise, Idaho. You want to go out? I wasn't working. There was a lot of shit going on in my life that allowed me to be able to uproot and just bounce. But U-Haul, I get the trailer for your vehicle. And dude showed up, never visited prior.
You just went.
Signed the lease. And that's when I got into like some content creation. I basically landed on this herbaceous spice blend, the garlic, the aromatics, the sea salt, and I cannot cook without it. It's something I use every day. I have this recipe, and for so many years, I'm like, I want to share this with the world, but I didn't know what to call it. So about a year ago, I was like thinking of names. Chef Dust hit me. But I've used that over the years on social media, on my content.
I gotta smell it. Oh my God. This is like the greatest thing I've ever smelled.
It still hits, I don't miss it. It's go, 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 like a go-go flow. And I'm almost done, and I told you so. When I throw these flows, like it's Rochambeau. And I ain't too close to the Joe Smo goes. And I'm on my grind, that is all the time. I do not do breaks, that's right, I stay in dry. And look, I'm back with a little bit of that, a little more cash than it came in with. Ready, that cat is out that bag, but I still ask you, the boy got skills. I don't need her, I don't need him, I don't need help with me, I got this. I can sing songs, I can spit raps, and I can do both, even do this. Word.
Jonathon Merrick, welcome to the On the Stacks podcast.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, welcome. Yeah, welcome back home.
Yes, sir.
You know, for the visit. How's it feel to be back home for a bit?
Good, man. It's interesting, you know. I've been gone now 5 years.
Has it been that long?
5 years, maybe even approaching a little more. So I haven't been back in a while. So it's really good to be back. You know, when you're here all the time, being from here, you know, you tend to take things for granted, in my opinion. So yeah, got in Wednesday.
Yeah, cool.
And
how's it been living away? It's always one of those things. You know, I'm sure. Well, I mean, I know you love it because I know, you know, we talked a little bit before you came on, but how's that? How was the transition like moving away? And I know you travel a lot, right? Like how's that been?
I'll tell you, man. Like, to be honest, originally it's, you know, we go back to the COVID days. I was living in Ithaca, New York for a couple years. And, you know, COVID hits and people always ask me, how'd you end it? Because I live in Boise, Idaho now. So people ask me,
what the hell's in Boise, Idaho?
How do you get to
besides
Boise,
besides
Idaho?
Potatoes?
And everyone says the same thing, right? And that's what I thought. So anyway, my phone rings. It was basically, to make it a long story short, it's like the apocalypse in New York. And I was with a company, they basically just shut down. And my phone rings, a guy that knew of me and knew me. And he's like, hey, I have an opportunity in Boise, Idaho. You want to go out? You want to move out? And
like this was just like kind of happened.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't working. There was a lot of shit going on in my life that allowed me to be able to uproot and just bounce. But yeah, he hit me up and I'm like, damn, shit's rough right now. But Boise, Idaho, I was like, what is out there? And I pondered it and listen, I did so much I called everyone I knew, like, yo, ring. Bro, have you ever heard of Boise, Idaho? You ever been there? Like friends that travel a lot. And everyone was like, nah, I don't know what the hell's out there. And one dude picked up the phone. Kenny Golinoski, Culinary Ken. He's a local legend.
Culinary Ken.
Yeah, local legend.
Out there?
No, he's from here.
Oh, he's from here. Okay.
And Ken picks up the phone. He lived out the Pacific Northwest. He lived out there, and he's like, bro, you're gonna love it. It's so dope. That's all I had to hear, because coming from him, I knew he was traveled. I trust his opinion. So yeah, U-Haul. I get the trailer for your vehicle. So I put my Jeep on the trailer. I drove basically from Ithaca to New York during COVID.
No shit.
And it was like 5 stops. So I just planned out the hotel, whatever. And dude showed up, never visited prior.
You just went.
Signed the lease.
To an apartment.
Yeah. The company I was going to work for, that was all in motion.
Yep.
Signed the lease. And when I did it, I'm like thinking, okay, what's this? Boise's the city. So like in my mind, I'm like, well, let's pick the closest like version of what would be downtown Manhattan, like a cool spot. Like what's that version in Boise? Let's just be downtown. I want it to be a pizza shop or a restaurant. I want a coffee shop.
Close to all the cool places.
And the kitchen got to be dope. So I found this amazing spot, like pound for pound, the lease I signed, it looked like a condo. It was the largest piece of real estate as a rental in the city that you could possibly find for the money.
Oh, wow.
It was beautiful. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a castle of a kitchen, living room. It was all open. And so that's when COVID was going on. And that's when I got into like some content creation and you know, all that stuff.
Yeah. I remember seeing all that early on. And I was always impressed by your content because it's not easy. I mean, obviously I know. Right. And, yeah, it was cool to see that. And I was every time I saw him, I was like, yeah, damn, that's cool.
Yeah. It was fun, man. You know, so
it was that kitchen. Were you filming in that apartment? Like when you first started making the content?
Yeah, I was there for like a year or two.
Okay, because I can picture it. Like I'm picturing it in my head right now, and I was always like, "Wow, it's a really nice kitchen too." I remember saying that to myself.
Well, the first 2 years or year, whatever it was, I was in this huge apartment, and then there was 8 units in the building, so it was a small building. And then after 2 years, it was just so big. I went next door, and I was in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, like same kitchen layout though. So like no one really knew I was in a different apartment.
Switch sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's when, you know, so I was there, I don't know, up until, so me and my fiance, we have a house in what you call Meridian. So Meridian's like Kingston, Boise is like Wilkes-barre, kind of.
Okay.
In distance.
All right.
And so I had that lease, like we were together for almost 4 years now, but I had that lease.
Did you meet her there?
Yeah, we moved to Idaho without knowing each other almost to the date, the same month and same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
2020.
A crazy year.
Oh yeah.
Weird year.
Very,
very strange.
But, you know,
but obviously for the better. I mean, I feel like, you know, as shitty as the times were, you know, for, you know, people's health, et cetera, and jobs and economy and all that, there was, I think, a real lot of good too that also came out of that year.
Yeah, I went there. In my mind, it was like, back to the whole Boise thing. It was like, what is this, farmland, potatoes? Like, what is it going to look like?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I'm on Google Maps, like walking around the city. And my plan was this: listen, you could do anything for a year. I'm going to go here for a year, and then I'm going to plan my next attack. Is it going to be Austin? Is it going to be, you know, Denver? Is it going to be California? I don't know. And that was my plan. And the guy that had hired me and brought me out, he's like, look, give me 2 years, whether you look in or outside of the company for a position, just give me 2 years. I'm thinking 2 years, bro, I'll give you a year. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
But here it is, man. I get there. It's been 5 years. I've lived a lot of places. I've lived in Italy. I've lived in many major cities. I've worked in these cities. At this time of my life, Boise is amazing for me.
Really?
I think it's probably the best place I've ever lived, pound for pound.
Wow.
It's not perfect.
Are you trying to talk me into moving out there or what?
Listen, they're going to hate me for promoting it because they're so sick of the Californians infiltrating, because that's what has happened there for the last 10 years. A lot of Californians have what they consider infiltrated.
Okay.
Which, you know, I don't get involved in the politics with that, but they're
infiltrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, man. You know,
nice.
Is there some things that I would like to see change? Yeah, for sure. You know?
Yeah. So you have that anywhere,
but clean, safe, the weather, bro. I often go on my phone and my fiance, Stephanie, I'll say, babe, I'll be like, hey Siri, what's the weather in Wilkes-barre, PA? And we're standing there, not a cloud in the sky, perfect weather. And it'll be like, raining, 95% chance. And we look at the temperature and I'm just like,
yeah, or cold or snow, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I think you got lucky on this trip that you're in for, right? I think you've had good weather, and I think you're going to continue to have good weather, I believe. But yeah, dude, if you were here like a week or so ago, it was just all we've had is rain. So thanks for bringing the Idaho sunshine.
Yeah,
if that was right, I don't know, maybe. But I think you brought some good weather with you, because it's been. I'm sure you've heard and seen everybody complaining about the rain. Well, I mean, obviously you check the weather too, but yeah, it's been rainy up until somewhat recent. So.
Boise's similar to the Valley, because
is it?
It is, because you will hear people refer to the Treasure Valley.
Okay.
Like, this is Wyoming Valley. I'm in the Treasure Valley.
Oh. So you went from one valley to another.
Yeah. And you'll hear people refer to it as the Valley. So like on Facebook, someone will be like, oh, we got a new burger joint in the Valley.
And you're thinking like, no, like this isn't the Valley.
I'm still trying to.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, who is that? Is that NEPA Valley, or is like, you always have to probably check.
Yeah. But it's similar also in the fact that it's surrounded by mountains similar in size to here. But what's different is they're not green like they're green here. It's high desert. So we're at elevation, and the mountains are like very deserty, and honestly, it looks like California in some ways. But the hometown vibe, like there's a lot of similarities to the area here.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
People are proud of where they're from. I think same here, man. Like there's a lot of similarities.
That's cool. Cause a lot of times like you hear like, you know, I mean, obviously I've talked to people from, you know, I mean, all over the country, all over the world over the years, but I often find that it's hard to find another town. I mean, it's cool that you did, right? But I always find that most people, like a lot of places people live, like they like, it doesn't have that vibe or that much, you know, the feeling that people really care about where they're at or where they're from. Like, and the thing around here, I'm obviously, you know, cause you're born and raised here too, is like people around here, like really, really, you know, take pride in, you know, this area. And, you know, I mean, some people obviously don't too, but people are like super passionate, like really, really passionate. And I feel like that's hard to find in a lot of places in general, you know? But I didn't know you lived in Italy.
Yeah. 2011, I went out. I was working at Kevin's. I was one of the opening guys, cooks, chefs with Kevin. So when Boylan bought the place, we started from day one. Brian McDermott, shout out. Great chef in the area. A lot of folks probably know him. And anyway, I spent 3 years there. But in the middle of that, I had just had an opportunity, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh, I can't leave my job. But it was my first flight ever.
Really?
I had never been on a plane.
And your first flight is Italy,
Spain, and then
but still long.
Yeah, man. And I was 26 or something like that. And I got on a jet out of New York, whatever the big airport is there.
Yeah, by JFK. And so spent like almost 6 months out there. Nice. What have you learned in all your travels? I mean, obviously I know you've traveled more than that and you still travel, but like, what have you learned really just about, it doesn't have to be, you know, I mean, obviously it could be about, you know, cooking and your profession, all that, but just like in general too, like what have been like some things you've taken away from a lot of your travels?
Italy was crazy. It was so majestic. It was so surreal. I think a lot of that had to do with a lot of first times. So you're kind of sensitized to all these experiences. And like when I got on that plane and I fell asleep and I woke up and it was like, ding, we're in Spain. It was just like, whoa.
You actually slept the whole time?
I'd never been on a plane, bro. And now I'm in Spain and we're across the pond, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get to Italy, and I'll never forget, I get off the plane in Pisa, and you know, they had someone pick me up, and I'm just like, you're like a newborn baby, you know what I mean? You're just like, whoa, I'm looking around the town, the little villages, and we're driving. And I basically worked on an olive oil farm that was like a nice hill, and all the olive trees wrapped around, and the road you would walk up went into a spiral, and then you get to the top, and the top is this just olive oil estate where they would back in the day press the olives, and there was a kitchen and a cooking school. So a lot of people, it was more of a vacation, like cooking school, not for chefs. It was like couples and folks that were retired, and they would go there for a week, and we would do classes.
Oh, I see.
I was like an apprentice sous chef supporting and running the classes. So like Monday might be pasta, Tuesday's pizza night, you know, Wednesday might be roasted meats, and the students prep the food. We run the class. Then they would go on tour. They would go to like, every day would be a different location. When they would get back, all the staff, us, would have the meal that they prepared all plated out family style.
Oh, okay.
And then we'd have wineries come in and be pouring the Chianti and telling a story, you know, and then everyone would enjoy the dinner and and we would cycle through. So every like week you'd have a new group, and you meet a lot of friends. You meet a lot of people from all over the world.
That's wild. That's a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have expected you to tell that kind of story from that. Like that's pretty neat. And so like olive oil farm. I mean, that's like, obviously, like you said, it dates back like way back.
Hundreds and hundreds of years.
It's so crazy when you think about it, like, the simplicity of that, right? But I think it's pretty cool to be able to learn those parts of like the business, I'll say, like for you, like being in culinary, right? It's really like you really like immerse yourself like in different cultures, different parts of the world, like different experiences to learn and grow from like all the different parts. Like that's pretty neat, man. Like and honestly, like I admire it because it takes a lot of guts to do something like that. Like, well, first of all, I mean, just moving halfway across the country or all the way across the country, or let alone, you know, to Italy, or just go to Italy for a couple of years or wherever. I mean, it takes a lot to be able to do that. You know, whether it's planned or kind of not, either way. I mean, it's it's not an easy thing to do. And you've done it like multiple times.
Yeah, it's been a common thread for me. I've been a nomad most of my life, most of my career.
You enjoy that?
Especially culinary. Yeah, I mean, not so much now. I travel a lot now, but it's more for like work and business. But
sure, yeah, it's like out and back kind of thing.
I've never lived anywhere for like more than 2 years.
Except
before high school.
Except Potato Land.
Potato Land.
Yeah.
So, and I ain't going anywhere. We're there. We're stuck.
Yeah. You think you're going to stay there?
Yeah. My fiance has 2 young ones, so they will be my, how do you say, future step kids?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you're expecting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Yes, we are. Do you say what? You hear people say we're pregnant. I think I'm going to say she's pregnant.
She is.
Because I'm not pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
But,
you're not?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's been a road, man. We had 2 miscarriages, and the first one was, they were very close together. And the first one was year and a half, maybe. And that's rough, man. You go through that. It's so tough, and it's so tough for her, and we get pregnant again. And then it's just like, oh, fuck. And so we went through that twice. And so we're pregnant for the 3rd time. And, you go in for the ultrasound, and you're just looking at the screen, and this lady's probably looking at both of us like, why aren't you too excited? And it's like, we're shitting our pants. We're just like nervous, And she puts the thing on, and she looks over eventually, and she's like, strong heartbeat. Because that was what it wasn't the last 2 times. And strong heartbeat, right where it needs to be. Looking good, guys. And she's smiling, and we're just like, okay, good. Yeah. And I'm just waiting for the next thing, like strong heartbeat, but there was no buts. Everything was good. And went to a second appointment. She puts the thing on again, and she says, I hear the word strong and heartbeat. And I'm just like,
whew, relief.
So if you were to ask me how many weeks, I should probably know this, but I think I know the due date, December 8th.
When's the due date? December 8th.
December 8th. And we blew off the cannons on the backyard the other day, and the powder came out blue. So,
all right, congrats, hell yeah,
man.
Awesome. Do you know a name yet, or are you guys keeping it a secret? That's what we did. We kept it we kind of kept it to ourselves.
I think
no spoilers here.
No, I think we have a name. I think
don't want your family all pissed off at me.
Well, no, she wrote down a bunch of names, and I just struggled with it.
It'll come to you though. I mean, but you guys already did pick.
Well. Yeah, so her father's name was Kai, Kai, and I like it.
That's a dope name.
I like Kai Merrick.
Ooh, it's got a good ring to it.
We got to find a middle name, Kai Merrick. He's gonna be a badass.
It sounds like it.
I can't find another name that when you're thinking of a name of a podcast or a name of a brand. I can't think of any plan Bs. I think that's it.
Well, hey, that's it. You can't even think about it anymore. Once you know, you just know. You know what I mean? Like it just clicks. So the same thing with us. We have 2. Braden's about 4, almost 4. Sophia's like a year and a half, and same thing with us, man. Like my wife and I went back and forth, and all of a sudden, like one day I came home, like we had like lists, right? And like one day I came home and I was just like, how about I'm like, how about this name? And she's like, nah. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. I'm like, I'm just gonna go through like a few, right? And then we're both like, nah. And then I was like, Braden, and I'm like, she's like, I like that. I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm like, that's it. And then it was like that. It was, as simple as it is, as silly as it sounds, but like once you know, like that's it. Like it just, there's no like, maybe. If it's an maybe, then it's like, that's not it. And it goes, whether it's a child's name or like you said, like a name of a brand or a podcast or just anything. Like, I don't know. I'm just that type of person that like, it has to just, you have to love it. And if you don't love it, it's just like, no, it's not good. It's not good enough.
Yeah, Kai's a dope name, and like with her, it has I don't know if it's Asian, but it pays homage to her Asian.
It sounds
heritage. I feel like
I would imagine so. Yeah,
yeah. But that was her father's name. So yeah,
that's really cool. Kai. I don't know where I'm getting that. It's like really ringing a bell for me. I don't know why there was a Kai somewhere showing up in my life not long ago, and I can't remember what it is, but. Maybe I'll remember by the time we're done here, and I'll just like interrupt you randomly and be like, "Oh, here's the story." But yeah, it's sounding like so familiar, like in like a unique way. Yeah. So that's cool, man. Congratulations. So you're gonna be a dad.
Yeah.
And your life's gonna change. I know you probably heard that 1,000,001 times, and it's all good, man. Like I hate when everyone's like, "Oh, you're having kids, you're doomed, life's over." It's like, no, man. Like your life's about to begin.
I can't even say I have any idea of what it's going to be like. I don't even try to.
Yeah. Don't think about it because you'll psych yourself out in one way or another. But yeah, it's not easy. It's hard, but it's like, it'll be the greatest thing you ever do. So
That's what I hear. So
yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not very religious, but like I do, kind of like give it up to God. Like, listen, just let her be healthy. Let the baby be healthy. That's all I care about, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. You just got to trust. And, again, like same thing. I'm not very religious either. I say I'm spiritual. And you just have to, sometimes you just have to just let things be and just let, things will work out, and I know, as cheesy as it is, like what is meant to be will be, and it'll work out. Like, and then you just go on, man. Like, and just trust and believe and, just go with it. It'll, yeah, man. So I wish you the best of luck, obviously. Yeah. And man, it'll be fun.
It's gonna be a ride.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ride for sure. So you'll have a future chef alongside you, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. What's that? So speaking of like the cooking stuff, obviously that's a huge part of your life. I obviously want to talk a little bit more about that. I remember going back to like some of your content. I don't know why I thought of this, but like when I think a few minutes ago, like you said something about steak, and it just reminded me. Like I remember one time, like you had a video and like you were like cutting steak, and I feel like the camera, I don't know if the camera was like zoomed in on the steak. I don't know what it was, but I just remember videos like you cutting steak. You might not even remember. Like I don't even remember like exactly what it was, but I just remember like seeing you cutting steak, and I'm like, wow, like it looked perfect and amazing. I'm just like, wow, because I feel like I'm one of those guys that like I can never really get steak right.
Do you cook at home?
Sometimes. Yeah, actually, no. I actually just made steak like a week or so ago, and actually, it was like it was perfect, at least to my like medium. It was like just right.
Got it.
But yeah, and I'm not. Believe me, I'm not even gonna try to claim to be any type of anything when I cook. But I mean, I enjoy it sometimes, depending on what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Obviously, I love food all around. I love Asian food too. We were just kind of talking. We were talking about that, I think, right before we came on. But yeah, man. I love a good steak, and I remember, like I said, that one time you were cutting something in the video, and I'm just like,
yeah, you gotta let it rest.
Yeah, but and I think you even said that too. Like, but you also make it look so easy. And I'm just like, how is he doing this?
And lately, like, there's so much steak content. And you know what I've realized recently? I, in some cases, think steak is overrated as a red meat.
I do too, and like that, because I don't eat it. Like I do enjoy it, but like. I couldn't tell you, besides a week ago, I couldn't tell you the last time I had steak.
I think steak tasted different. Like I remember back in like when I first started cooking, like 01, 02, 03, I feel like steak tasted different back then. I don't know why. Maybe it's just an illusion.
It's probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. But I mean, depends on obviously where it comes from and the way, animals and stuff are raised these days.
We don't get the marbling we used to get. Like in Idaho, we have Snake River farms. So you're starting to see it out here because they're growing, but it's a local American Wagyu. So it's of some, I don't know what their breeds are, but Wagyu is a very, marbled, beautiful. Yeah. They're like not so fatty where, it's like, some of it's like pure fat. It's a good mix of both, but it's really good stuff. And we get some Snake River out there, and like that is not of the overrated steaks, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'm a lamb guy, dude.
Lamb, huh?
Lamb.
Yeah.
I would rather eat a good lamb over steak anytime, bro.
Why? Because
with steak, first of all, you have to find the right cut. You have to have good marbleization. Have you ever eaten a steak where you're looking for a napkin because you're chewing on a piece of sinew or something like that?
Oh, dude, yeah.
I hate that personally.
Same.
It's just like I get weird with that.
Oh yeah, I get really weirded out, and then it's like I feel like it ruins the meal.
Yeah, and you'll notice in some fine dining restaurants, they'll take a New York strip, they'll cook it perfectly, then they'll carve off the fat side here. They'll carve off, and I know it's a little wasteful, but they'll do that, and then they'll end up with this like rectangle.
Yeah.
Avoiding that.
Yeah.
And like at home, that's what I do. I'm like, I don't want to. But no, lamb is just fire. Lamb and duck.
That's like your favorite to cook and eat.
I love lamb, dude. I don't know if this might sound weird, but I think so. I'm Syrian Lebanese on my father's side, and it's weird because he doesn't look Syrian Lebanese at all. I think his dad did. My grandfather did.
You don't really either.
Yeah. I did a 23andMe, and it was like 30%, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'm 30%.
What else did come up?
I'm very Irish. I have like a lot of Irish English. I thought I was more Italian than I was. If my New York Italian friends, I would have never because I always thought I was half, you say half, right?
Yeah.
You're not half.
You're right. Yeah, everybody does that. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm half this, half that.
Yeah, no, I'm Middle Eastern. What is it? 30? It was like 25, 30%. A lot of Irish. My grandmother was Irish.
Yep.
The Mangan Merrick.
Yep.
And Italian. What am I missing? English, something like that.
Okay.
But what I was going to say was, it's interesting because Middle Eastern food is something I've just fell in love with in the last couple of years. Not something I always really cooked or knew about. But I've been to some restaurants and I've cooked. So I have some books that I've really worked on or looked at and cooked out of. And that food is like top 2 right now for me. Middle Eastern food.
Really? Taking
the classics, the fundamental dishes, and then having some fun with them. Some of those flavors, those textures. It's
like
so
what?
simple.
What's a dish?
Like once you have a good hummus, you'll never look at hummus again because there's so much bad hummus. But once you have a good, silky, light, beautiful, buttery, buttery's not the right word, but once you have a good hummus, you're like,
can't go back.
It's so simple, but it's so beautiful. The warm spices, the 7 spices, the coriander, the Aleppo, good pita. Like I make pita bread with sourdough starter instead of commercial yeast. Oh my God, dude.
Dude, I feel like I wish I had a kitchen here. I'm like ready to eat now.
The kids call it yellow chicken. I make this. So I'm a rebel. I break rules. The famous quote, you have to know the rules before you break them.
Sure.
I try to follow that, but I'm a rule breaker, and I take the 7 spice, which is like coriander, allspice, all the stuff.
Yep.
And I add like turmeric, all the fun stuff. I make this. The kids call it yellow chicken.
Yellow chicken.
And you season the shit out of the chicken with a little yogurt, olive oil, excuse me, and you either roast it or you saute it. You have that. You have yogurt or labneh. I'm embarrassed now. I'm probably mispronouncing this. Labneh. I think it's
right.
labneh.
I couldn't even tell you. So
it's technically a cheese, but think of a thick yogurt.
Okay.
Labneh, Labneh, and then you have some kind of rice. You got your pita, some nice veg, some cilantro, and something spicy. And like, think of like when you make tacos or burrito, like you kind of eat with your hands. Like in Middle Eastern cuisine, a lot of times you'll sit at the table. There's no flatware. The pita is the vehicle, so you're dipping and sloshing and scooping. Yeah. Sloshing sounds gross, but
but I get it. Yeah,
yeah, man, and that yellow chicken's awesome. In fact, we have a project. We're working on a spice company here, kind of me and the fiance. So I would say she's more running the business than I am. I'm just a guy that has recipes.
You're just the guy that kind of knows the food stuff.
Well, it started in Italy, and I probably should have said that when we were talking about the Italy thing, because my big takeaway from Italy, if it's okay, we go back to that.
Yeah, of course.
I hate to jump around, but I really jumped in the pizza. We had pizza night there. That was my thing. So we were making pizza from scratch, and we're in Tuscany, and there was a hut, and in that hut had like, I don't know the years. Let's call it 500-year-old wood burning oven. It was actually a bread oven. So they were making bread out of that back in the day. And I have some photos.
500 years.
Oh, it's old.
I gotta see.
It was very old. I might be misquoting, but it was multiple
Either way, it was
hundreds of years old. Yeah. Maybe if I find a picture, I'll send it to you. I don't know if that's something So I fell in love with that night and really embraced it. And we used one of my biggest takeaways from Italy was something that I call her a mentor. She was the chef. Her name was Sandra Lotti. Toscana Saporita is her school. She's still there today. She's been doing it forever. She's had a bunch of heavy hitter chefs come there. You'll see this over Italy, right? She called it espresso, but in Italy, depending on what region, you'll find these spice blends that are packed in salt. Some of them have more salt than others. And in Italy, herbs grow just like everywhere.
Like wild?
Yeah, like we would walk out, I remember, and you'd have the rosemary bushes.
You just go pick it. The
thyme bushes.
That's crazy.
Caper berries growing on the side of the wall. Caper berries growing out of the sidewalks.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she made this spice blend specific to Tuscany. There's probably a million names for it. She called it espresso, and it was this magical spice. We would use it anywhere in red sauce. We would use it on roasted meats. We would put it in the pizza sauce. We would top the pizza sauce with it. Just this universal herb and spice blend packed with a little bit of salt. And I left Italy and I like had this recipe, and then I'm sitting there and this is going back, 2012, whatever it was, up until today, I've made that my own by like adding my own little fun stuff to it. I added some.
Yeah. Break the rules, right? You got to break the rules.
Yeah. And I basically landed on this herbaceous spice blend, with, the garlic, the aromatics, the sea salt. And I cannot cook without it. It's something I use every day.
Really?
The supper club, we used it a ton. We did pop-ups around it. We could talk more about that. But anyway, yeah, I have this recipe, and for so many years, I'm like, I want to share this with the world, but I didn't know what to call it. So I don't know, about a year ago, I was like thinking of names, and I was like, Chef Dust hit me, because it's so it's pulverized. Everything
is it very like fine?
Everything's freshly ground, so it's pretty fine.
Okay.
Like it's pretty dusty.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but
I like that name, Chef Dust. It's very catchy. Yeah.
And I thought Chef Dust, like I didn't want to name that because I knew that there was so many versions you could do of this. Like you can do the same technique and take some Latin flavors or some Mexican flavors, and you can make a version of that using the same technique, the freshly grind,
I see where this is going.
You know what I mean? You can do a Japanese version with, miso and tamari powder. And so I thought, well, if we do Chef Dust, we could do like different colors for different flavors, and keep it focused, keep it super high quality. And then that was it. So when I found a name, my fiance was very,
all right, now we got to do it.
Well, she was very instrumental and very helpful on doing it, because I think that she's she wants to lean into farmers markets just for fun and just do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually brought some. I should probably.
You brought some of the dust? Nuh-uh.
Prototype.
No shit. I mean, and by the way, like that, I knew you brought this bag, and you refused to show me what was in the bag until look at this.
So this is
Chef Dust.
This is the prototype. This is a label that I bought at like Staples. And
Dude, I'm so glad that's what was in that bag. I kind of forgot about the bag until you just reached down there.
I'll just say this: the logo, the design work was a lot of freaking work, but we landed. This is a prototype. There's a little more nuances that we changed, but that's pretty much the move.
Yeah.
So the logo was the most difficult part, and thanks to AI and I don't know what you think about the logo, but Chef Dust,
I like it.
That's gonna basically the type of blend will change color. So it'll be like a yellow.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
brown,
yeah, dude. When you were saying that before, I'm like, yo, man, you have the perfect way to be able to expand and like scale this beyond. Obviously, like this is like the original, right? No, obviously it says that, but yeah, man, you can like obviously kill this one out there first, right? Get everyone to know the name, and then start expanding with all those other colors. Like, dude. I gotta smell it.
You have to smell it, but you'll have to there's a seal on it.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah. So
all right. So this is really professional.
Yeah. You get what you do is
how long does it last?
I mean, it's shelf stable.
Well, not that. I mean, I'm gonna open it anyway.
Sealed like that. The biggest thing with spices,
they last like almost forever, don't they?
Yeah, but you want to avoid light. The light will destroy spice before a lot of other things.
Oh my God. This is like the greatest thing I've ever smelled.
Wow. It had the smell. You could taste it, but like when you smell it, that's what sells it. The smell. And obviously when you use it.
Of course.
But there's like 19 ingredients in it.
Oh my God. So again, I know I'm not I don't claim to be any type of cook by any means, but I do enjoy like making, some things. On my mom's side of the family, we have like my grandmother, my mom's mom, Italian, made a spaghetti sauce. Like, and it was like a family thing. My mom's maiden name is Define, and we call it sauce like Grammys, but like defines. I mean, my cousins go back and forth. Like we should literally maybe start. I feel like I've always pitched this like to my cousins, like, hey, like we should literally start we should bottle it and like sell it. Maybe we'll do it one day. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But call it Defines. That might be the name, obviously. But we season it, right? There's like a lot of seasoning that goes into it, and I feel like this would be like perfect like for that. Like next time I make the sauce, I'm putting this in it.
Oh, you have to.
Like I'm not doing like, sorry, mama, but I'm definitely putting this in. I'm because I'm breaking the rules now too, just like you, because I love to break rules. And I'm really glad you're a rule breaker, because I don't like having people on the show unless they are rule breakers. So shout out to the Rule Breaker Club. And dude, I got to smell this again.
Yeah. And I struggled on the name.
Man.
When we finally had the logo, I couldn't figure, because I wasn't going to call it Asperso, because it's not Asperso. And
that's like too complicated for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but to be very clear too, I didn't take that recipe and bottle it. That is different than what we were doing in Italy,
sure.
right? It's definitely different. But
you said you broke the rules with it.
But I've used that over the years on social media, on my content. I naturally call it my secret weapon. So we were going to name it Secret Weapon, but it's been done so meen times. I saw
it's like kind of generic.
Yeah. And so I thought
it doesn't really sound like if you would ask me, my opinion, like I was like, well, but I wouldn't think of food.
Yeah.
I mean, Chef Dust, 10 out of 10. And I think the name too. I'm a huge branding guy. I love branding, by the way. I just love a good brand.
Honestly, what do you think?
Name. Oh, I love it. I love it. And like you said, you have the ability to change those colors and make like 10 varieties.
And when they're sitting next to each other,
dude, line them all. I could picture it right now. I could picture literally like
the yellow,
4,
the brown,
8, like lined up. I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
I can't wait till you do it, man, because I can't wait to see you expand on this, because this shit excites me. Like new brands. Like I love just like, I feel like half the time, like I'll just be sitting around, I'll think of something, I'll just like develop a brand out of nowhere for nothing, and then I do nothing with it, like just for fun. It's like just like something I enjoy building, like coming up with something from scratch.
Well, my fiance Stephanie, she's like, you need to share this with the world. She's like,
yeah, man.
She's like, you're not building something to just push something out there and try to make $1. She's like, you use this every single day, and it's true,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So Secret Weapon is.
Wait, are you selling this yet?
No, when are you gonna start selling it? Right now, we're small peanuts here. Like I'm just trying to just process enough jars to set up a D2C. So we have the Shopify going, and she's managing all that stuff, because I work full time.
Yeah. Are you selling this on TikTok?
Not yet, man.
Sell it on there, bro.
Well, we didn't launch, so the jars are ordered. They're on the way as we speak.
Oh, because you can't even sell it, because you don't even have everything to be able to like sell it like at more mass
Dude,
scale.
I spent most of the time designing the logo and the branding.
Yeah, I feel
that's what took the most time.
I feel that, man. Yeah,
and we finally got it done. So they're ordered. The next step is to set up the Shopify. So. I'm only starting with one SKU. Everyone's like, "Yo, start with 5 flavors." No, one.
You're doing it right. Yeah, don't rush it, man.
Make the mistakes, learn from them, get ready.
Plus, you have a killer product already. You don't need 5 more right now. I mean, you do, but not right now.
Yep.
So you're doing it right, man.
Focus on one. But no, to answer your question, the Shopify needs to get set up. So I want to make it look really nice. I want some videos. I want all the good stuff on there. So
cool, man.
Hopefully 4 weeks, maybe. So
sweet. Well, this episode will probably be out like right before that. This is good timing.
Well, I need to.
This is the commercial for Chef Dust.
Let's go. We have time, but I need to have it ready for Thanksgiving, because I didn't mention this maybe, but yes, red sauce, secret weapon.
Yeah.
Pizza. Like when I'm making my pizza sauce, I cannot feel good about myself without sprinkling that pizza sauce. But roasted chicken.
Ooh.
Like you think about roasted chicken.
Yeah.
You put butter under the skin, you salt and pepper, and you usually put fresh herbs all around it or whatever. A lot of chefs do.
Yeah.
I cover it with that.
Like cover?
Oh, you go heavy, because there's barely any salt in it.
Oh, okay.
Like I could easily pack that with salt and bring my margins down, but then it's like I encourage people to use salt with that.
Okay. Just add to it.
Yeah, I olive oil, I'll season it like I normally would, and then I go with that baby and I just go heavy. That's like
what it reminds me of when you just did that. I know this is like real cheesy, but like way back in the day, when I was a kid growing up, my mom, my stepdad, they used to watch what's his name, Emeril Lagasse, Bam. Like my mom, like I'm sure it's probably sold somewhere. I'm sure it probably has over time on it, but like my mom made her own version of that, like from watching the show. She made her own, and I think she still makes it. Like, and I've even made it myself, or like she's helped me like make it and would give me like little batches of it.
Okay.
Like little, it was kind of like, kind of like this, obviously it was never anything like, didn't give it to anyone else. It was just like my mom would make her own. But when you did that, it just reminded me of Emeril, bam, thrown in the pan on TV.
Well, I was going to say too, Thanksgiving.
You got to get obnoxious with this, man. You got to get up. I'm telling you. ramp that content up and get obnoxious with it.
It's going to be so fun because I've
like,
always
I'm excited for you.
But I've always used it online or whatever.
But you probably never really talked about it, right?
Well, no, because I didn't have a name. So it was like, what is this thing? Like, I
got my seasoning. I'm just going to throw some of this on here.
You'll find videos of me using that 2 years ago, calling it something different because I didn't, But I was saying chicken, but poultry. So you think about Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest holidays on the planet.
Man.
And people are always like, what do I do to my turkey? Dude, that is the secret weapon for turkey because turkey and chicken, it's the same kind of vibe, right? So I think
that could be your tagline, though.
Thanksgiving could be a big
secret weapon
week for us in regards to sales, I feel like, and promotion and promoting it. But yeah, dude, it's been wild.
Love it. Dude, I can't wait to use it. I'm not kidding. I'm so glad you brought this. Like, I mean, I know like, when we were texting like over the last like few weeks or whatever, when you said you were coming in and you mentioned something about it. And like, I didn't really ask like too many questions, but also like a lot of times, like when I know somebody's coming on the show, as much as I like to like have like a little conversation before somebody comes in to make sure like, we could talk about the things that like we want to talk about that like make sense. I also say like, oh man, but like I always like to just tell people like, I want to like talk about it for the first time here. You know what I mean? Like some things, which I'm glad we did. And like when you came in, I was like, yeah, what's in the bag? And you're like, I'll show you during.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll show. Yeah, don't worry about it. There's the Italian, right? Like I'll show you during the show. And I'm like, okay, I actually like that better. I'm like, yeah, don't show me. I'm like, I want to see. And not that I forgot about this, obviously. And I don't know why I didn't think you wouldn't have brought it. But maybe I was thinking like you weren't this far along or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I ran a batch and I have a like.
But I'm super excited that you have this here.
Yeah, we've got I have like 20 prototypes, so I just figured I'm glad I remembered to throw it in my bag on the way here.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah. So what else we throwing it on?
I mean, I think of it anywhere I'm going to use where I would use like fresh, like what do we use? We're cooking, right? I'm often using herbs. I'm often using garlic and onions going almost everything I cook. So like that has all those things. There's a lot of pepper in it.
Does it have to be cooked into something?
No.
Dumb question.
You know what it's bomb on?
Like, can you just like throw it on something that's already cooked and like eat it like raw? Is that the right? I don't even know the right word.
No, 100%. Like for steak too, you don't want to season your steak with that first. It's going to burn.
Okay.
So I'll cook my steak, all the things, and make it beautiful, perfect, rested, sliced. Then I'll just I'll just go on top.
A lot though?
Because it just melts. Oh, you go pretty heavy.
Okay.
You go pretty heavy.
Cooked like right before you're going to eat it.
Yep.
You just whoosh, over the top.
Gravy, like when I make gravy, I use aromatics. I season my gravy with the garlic and the herbs. I just if I don't have garlic and herbs, I'll just boom.
Damn.
Potato chips.
Ooh, I'm a big chip guy.
Oh my god, I'm a big chip guy. Dude.
That's like honestly, if anybody knows me or my wife, if she's gonna watch this, she's gonna laugh because I like that's it for me, man. Like French fries, pizza, and like chips, but mostly chips. Definitely French fries too. I'm
a chip cracker.
Dude, I'm addicted to chips.
You're gonna like.
Hi,
this.
I'm Bill, and I'm addicted. I'm a chip addict.
You're gonna love this. I got something else.
I thought I saw a bag of chips peeking out of there. Yeah.
So I just saw something on like a Instagram reel or whatever it was, and it was like the top 5 worst foods for you, and he's going through, and he's like oil, this canola oil, seed oils, and like number 1 was potato chips, and I'm like, oh, I'm so fucked. Yeah, let's rock these.
All right, what do we got?
Before anything, I gotta say, it's good to be back in PA for so many reasons, but the main is the food for me.
Okay. Remind me, we got to talk about that in a minute, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think that you Pennsylvanians take it for granted, the amazingness. Yeah.
So the food here is that good? And how about the pizza? I guess that was my question. We can go off on this little tangent here.
Yeah, when I'm out west, I'm in Idaho, Pacific Northwest, or in West in general, people they don't look at it as just New York. They're like East Coast pizza. It's like a blanket statement to them.
That's not right.
It's not right.
No, it's not. We're gonna have to scold them right now.
But growing up, you had in my mind, we have our little pockets of different styles. You have Pittston, you have Old Forge, you have Wilkes, you have guys like, and I don't mean to name drop because I'm going to start name dropping a million places.
Yeah, do it.
But like, your Angelo's, your Jerry's, Newtown Cafe is my family heirloom. I don't know if that's a way to label it, but yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But growing up, you would have the New Yorkers come here and tell us, that's not real pizza. What do you guys put an American cheese on the pizza for? And like you would have these New Yorkers shit on us.
Yep.
And I feel like knowing so much about pizza now and how I've traveled and I go to Pizza Expo and I see all this stuff, I think Old Forge and our style of pizza could be the next style. Meaning like the white cheddar we use.
Like Old Forge specifically, or
Old Forge is a move. I think,
you know, to be honest, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not like a huge Old Forge pizza guy. I mean, it's good, but like,
I'm gonna piss someone off.
so I think I just probably pissed off a lot of people with that too. But you know, I just got to be honest.
I think the Old Forge to me is great when it's done right.
Sure,
And just for me,
just not my go-to. That's all.
if I want to enjoy some Old Forge, I want it to be 100% Cooper or American, and I want the dough to be fresh made. Like, there's nothing wrong with buying pre-made pizza shells.
Yeah,
if they're good quality. But the best Old Forge I've had was the 100%. When they cut it with the cheddar or whatever they do, I want the full American, man.
yeah.
And everyone's going to be like, you know, that's not from here. American cheese on pizza, bro. I don't. You're crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like you have the right, more so than most people, to make these claims. By the way, because like you're the real deal, man. You know, like you've traveled the world, you've studied this stuff, you've studied this your life, man. Like this is like, you know this better than most people. So like, you know, like I feel like people have to respect like your opinion on all this, and I mean, obviously I do too, right? But like, you know, like it's not like you're not just like some random ass, you know, wannabe foodie sitting here talking about this and that. It's like, no, like you actually know because you do it.
And I remember growing up being a little insecure about our pizza style out here. Like, because you'd have the New Yorkers shitting on our pizza.
Yeah.
But like,
how's the pizza out there?
In Idaho? I'll be honest. I have had some pizza in Idaho. Most of it's not great.
I thought you were going to say there was some really good stuff.
There's a spot.
Okay. There's a good one.
There's a spot.
One spot
that I found.
Okay.
I got to shout out the Wilder.
You have to.
Phenomenal job. It was the first place when I got to Idaho, the first place I ever put food in my mouth in that state was the Wilder.
The Wilder.
And I went there and my expectations were down on the ground, right? So I went to the Wilder and I got a pizza, man, and it was phenomenal.
I'm going to write this down. I don't know if I'm ever going to come to Boise, Idaho, but I feel like I have to now.
You should. Wilder's doing a great job. They're doing a sourdough. I think it's pretty high hydration and killer pizza. People always ask me, can you make it as good as the Wilder? I'm like, my style's different.
Yeah.
I try not to like be that guy like, oh, my pizza's the best. No.
Yeah, I can make it better.
I make a good pie, but no, they're doing a good job.
At least you found one.
Yeah.
At least you found one.
And that group is doing a solid job. Like you see guys like locally, you see these restaurant groups coming together, like the Friedman Group.
Yeah.
Wilder's kind of becoming somewhat of that. They have like 5 or 6 different concepts.
Oh, cool.
They do a really good job.
Nice.
I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. We got off.
Yeah, but you were saying about the New Yorkers, how you're insecure. Oh, are we doing the chips now?
Oh, before I pull it out.
Yeah.
So back here.
Oh, chips. Yeah, we both sidetracked. I don't know about you, man, but I mean, I do have ADHD, so like I'm all over the place, man. Like I try to keep things on task here, but if somebody goes full ADHD with me, I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. We'll just go all over the place.
Definitely 80 something.
I'm down with it.
Yep.
80 something. Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
But I'm back here. The biggest thing, like I talk about cause I don't visit often, but for me, it's like, yeah, like after this, I'm going right to Circles on the Square and I'm getting the number 33 Charlie's tuna. It's the best tuna sandwich on the planet Earth. Like, I'm just excited for the food to be obviously friends and family. Of
course. Yeah.
It's nice to see some greenery and all the stuff.
Have some of these good establishments that you just like you said, like it reminds me when you said before, you kind of like some people take for granted.
Yeah. Middlesworth, bro.
Oh yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked into the convenience store and just seeing that logo, that bag of the M, like, I'm like, like your brain is like,
yeah, the senses are like, like, oh man.
So,
all right, what do we got?
I brought you some Idaho.
All right, look at this.
I don't know if you like barbecue.
Dude, I'll pretty much eat any chip except ketchup chips.
Okay.
Like there's a ketchup chip. I don't know who makes it.
I'm a salt and vinegar.
Are you?
I'm a salt and vinegar.
I used to be when I was a kid.
Or a plain. But those
salt
chips are bomb.
Or a plain. You're a plain guy.
Yeah, plain Middlesworth.
What brand? Oh, Middlesworth.
If I'm doing Middlesworth, I'm plain.
Really?
Yep.
That's very interesting. I don't think I've ever heard ever heard anyone say they liked the plain.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't dislike them, but I'm not buying them. Like if they're somewhere and if like that's what's there, I'm eating them. You know?
I love them all though. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I'm obviously the barbecue. I mean, all day. But also the sour cream and onion is Millsworth, the green bag. I call them by like the color sometimes, like Doritos, like blue and red. But yeah, the green bag is also killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I didn't know I was going to bring those. And I know we weren't even 100%. We were able to make our schedules work for this, but yeah. I was glad I had them. They are, I mean, it's Idaho potato chips, dude.
All right, I'm cracking them open.
Yeah, go for it. There's another company.
We're going to crunch in everyone's ear right now.
It's all good.
Everybody out. Tune everybody out right now.
I wish I had them too, but these are my favorite. There's another company called Roots, and Roots is like a really awesome. I wish I was able to give them a shout out as well because they deserve it. But Roots is another potato chip company that's cooking in 100% avocado oil. But yeah,
these are solid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. After I take this Zin out, I'm gonna join you.
Like I said, I'm a big chip guy, like major chip guy.
Well, I'm gonna take some Middlesworth back home, and I'm gonna fire up the camera, and I'm gonna pull like a couple bags of chips out and do the. Not that I'm gonna rate them because I'm always gonna default to Middlesworth. Sure. I don't care what anyone says. But I'm
here when you're ready.
Love chips, man.
Yeah, dude. So obviously out there you'll have to find some people that have never heard of Middlesworth. Have them give Middlesworth a whirl. I'm curious on their opinions.
I wonder why they're not like expanding. I think Middlesworth.
Yeah, what's up with that? Yeah, what's up with that?
Like we can't get Yingling out there.
Yeah.
So Yingling is a beer you never see. So like when I'm back home, I'm like, oh shit, Yingling on tap. You know, not that I like it, but
yeah, right. But it's like, but yeah, why the hell isn't Middlesworth further out? Like you said, I feel like they would crush it.
Let's go, guys.
It's like one of the best chips.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like, I got chips on all of my teeth now, but worth it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat that bag will be gone before tonight.
But to be clear, Idaho is way more than potatoes. I mean, going back to like coming out there and everyone asks, like that's how I pictured it. But no, it's very similar to here in certain ways. Growing like crazy, one of the fastest growing cities in the country.
Really
beautiful, safe.
I don't think I would have known that.
Yeah, and where we live, it's very rural, so it's like all these developments are brand new. Like you don't. I'm okay with it now. I'm down to be suburban dad. I'm chilling. Like that's my life.
Yeah,
now.
Suburban dad. Yeah,
I did the whole city thing. I'm a city boy.
Gotta
all
get
that
the sneakers
stuff.
now. Cut the grass with them. You gotta do the whole thing. You know.
Yeah, I pick up the dog poop. I take the trash out every Monday. I'm doing my thing. You know,
I love it, bro.
Like Tony Soprano picking up the paper.
Yeah.
But
in the robe, you gotta have the robe though.
I have a robe.
You got the robe?
I rock a robe.
Well, you better have.
I'm a robe guy.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going out there, like you gotta have the robe.
With the wife beater on too underneath.
Of course. Yeah, true Tony Soprano style.
But Idaho is, what was I going to say? Yeah, it is. So you have all this new development, but what I miss is the character. Like when you come back to Pennsylvania, you instantly feel character. I think that's one of the biggest things that this area has is true character, true soul. So, but when you get down into Boise, you get down into the city, man, it's a very active city. On the weekends, the restaurants are popping. There's people all over. It's super clean and super safe. I emphasize that because I'm not used to that as much. I was taken back.
Yeah, you're used to character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And characters, maybe, but
people are like waving hi to you. Like everyone's just like so
and you're
happy.
Probably like, why are they waving at me?
Dude, I was on
are they gonna rob me?
My first week there, people were waving at me and I didn't know what to do. I was like,
where I'm from, like we just keep walking.
Yeah,
we stay. We don't look. We just keep going.
Yeah,
we don't make eye contact.
Or we just road rage at the stoplights, and we.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's one of those things. It's comes up a lot on the show too. Is I'll say like this area, and sometimes obviously we kid and we poke fun, and it's all in good fun. But I do love the area, right? But of course, it has its quirks. I'll say,
yeah.
But you know what? We're allowed to make fun of it because we're from here.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm not like trashing it like fuck this place. Maybe sometimes when I get pissed, but you know what I mean.
I mean, shit. I wrote the Wilkes-barre song that went viral in 2018.
Right. You did. That's right. You did.
But to be fair, that was just creative songwriting. I mean, I was just calling out, some of the things that we're known for.
Yeah.
I don't have a negative connotation. Like I love this area, man. This area made me. I look at it like this. I am a true believer. It's not where you're from. It's where you're at, and I am never going to not be back home. Will always be Wilkes-barre, Pennsylvania. But, I live in Idaho, man. I've been here 5 years. Idaho's home now. It actually does feel like home. It took a while, but it finally does. But, Yeah, man. I'm excited for my fiance to see this area. So she's flying in tonight.
Oh, this is her first time here.
Yeah, she's a California
shit.
girl. So she's never been.
Oh boy.
I mean, she's been to the East Coast, but she's definitely never been here. So I'm going to try to give her the tour. We're limited on time.
Yeah.
I'm excited to plan another trip where I have even more
We have some more time to really show her around and actually like enjoy some stuff where you're not feeling rushed.
Yeah, we were going to go to Boston. We were going to do all that. I actually got a work call. I have to go to Hawaii on Monday.
Oh, geez. Feel bad for you.
Yeah, so we're going to go out there and spend a couple days, some work stuff to do, and then we're going to take a couple extra days.
Nice.
On Oahu.
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious. You kind of touched on it like a minute ago. I'm just curious. Maybe we could, if it's something interesting. I always find it interesting. So like when you talked about like the song, right, the music, and you said like the creativity thing, right, a creative outlet. Like obviously, like I'm sure you even consider cooking like creative and creativity. I would imagine, right? But I'm just curious, like for you, like this creative outlet, like, you know, I know obviously over the years, like you've dabbled in like different things in creative outlet, but, yeah, I know you don't really do music much anymore. Right. But I mean, for you, like what else, like creativity wise, like what do you do to stay creative?
So it's interesting, man. Like one of my first passions ever, I feel like, was like drawing. Now I've never been like good enough to be some kind of paid artist, but I've always loved art. That was like, I remember being my first passion ever. And then, you know, music came along probably in high school. I was doing music, hip hop. I mean, that was my scene. Why
the music? I'm just curious. Like, do you enjoy writing?
I have always,
and then that just evolved into?
I was a skateboarder in high school. So I was into punk music. I was into Green Day when they were good.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like the first two albums.
So you were always a real rule breaker.
A little bit.
Yeah, an OG rule breaker.
Yeah. And
me
like,
too. So I appreciate this.
But the music went from like skateboarder, like the Green Day, the No Effects and all that stuff. The alternative. I mean, we grew up late 90s.
Yeah.
And then I got into hip hop for sure. And listen, I'll be straight up honest. Like I was a little street kid. You know, I went through my days of, you know, I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't getting into trouble, but I was with a crowd that
maybe got into some trouble.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, and cooking came in and saved me from that.
Really?
Yeah, I've said this before, but it saved my life for sure.
How?
I don't know where I'd be, but if I didn't find a career, I would on a path of jail, maybe dead, maybe something really bad. You know? Yeah. I look at what's going on with the drugs in this country, in this area, and even everywhere, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with a bad crowd, man. You know, I was running around. But music started when it was a radio station in Wilkes University. Shout out to Evil B. He did a hip hop show, and at the end of the show, he would let rappers call in. This is back in the day. He would let local rappers call in, and he would put a beat on, and like they would do a freestyle at the end of the show. And I used to do that. That's when I first started. Like I'm hella young, I'm writing, and I would do that. And I was really bad. And then I got really good. And then I probably could have made a career out of music for sure. When the Wilkes-Barre song came out, it went crazy viral in this area.
Yeah.
Like that whole experience gave me a taste of fame. And let me explain. When I hear of guys, like you take example, like a Post Malone goes from nobody to writes that record and just explodes.
Yep.
I got a taste of that experience on a very small scale, to be clear.
Sure.
But I got a taste of it.
It's still the same type of thing.
Oh yeah. People were afraid to say hello to me in the grocery store. I experienced all those things on a smaller scale. And, but at that time I had some hitters reach out to me. And I'm not just saying this, I had some hitters in Dre's camp. And they weren't like, look, we're going to give you a record deal like that. Sure. It was just like, bro,
there was interest.
They're like, listen, we're watching you. Keep doing your thing.
And you caught their attention.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I went on Shade 4-5. I won a thing there. 50 Cent's producer was like in love with my stuff. Like, but you know, listen, man,
why'd you stop?
I didn't stop. You never stop doing music. You never stop writing music.
But I mean, you stopped like at the level that you were at least performing at the level that you were operating at.
I think I have to channel where I put my energy. And I think that like for me, having so many different passions, especially food, I think cooking, TikTok comes, COVID hits, like my energy was in creating cooking content. Like, but I always write music. You know, I'm sitting on tons of music.
So
right
you're just
now
not, you're just not putting it out, right? Like you're still doing it, but you're just doing it and just keeping it more in the vault.
Like right now I could yawn and put out an album if I really wanted to and put it on Spotify, and I probably will. That's cool. I'll probably put some music out in the next couple of years probably. But yeah, my focus ended up being on the food stuff. And then I'm in Idaho. It's a year in. I'm in this beautiful apartment and I have this open space, and I've always romanticized about doing a pop-up, because back, like, pop-ups were big and they still are. But I always was jealous. I was like, damn, this chef's doing a pop-up. He's doing a tasting menu for 20 people. And it was just so cool. I always wanted to do it. So I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I put this thing together. I called it Family Meal Boise, because in Family Meal is a time where the restaurant staff has a chance to actually sit down and enjoy a meal. And the better restaurants actually have a program for that. And usually in a restaurant, someone in the kitchen, it'll rotate, will be their responsibility that day to make family meal. And that's where you have to flex. That's where chefs, because all the chefs are eating your food, and that's where you would, maybe you're from Mexico, so you're probably going to cook. That's what they want to see. What's your food? And so when cooks cook family meal, they're usually cooking food that's has a story. That's some of the best food you'll ever have. And so I knew I was going to call something Family Meal. We're in Boise. I call it Family Meal Boise. We launch it. I did a menu, and 10 people showed up or 9 people showed up. And I was just in awe that people showed up. And what's so cool, man, it blew up. It blew up. We have an email list. We're not doing them now because that lease ended, so I don't have that space anymore. But we put together a space where we were doing 1 dinner a month, running it twice, like Saturday and Sunday. Email list was like hundreds of people. We'd post the menu and it would sell out in like 2 hours. And it was a tasting menu with global flavors. So like 5 courses, not just Italian. Like we would just global flavors, meaning we would pull inspiration globally and put it in a 5-course tasting menu. And we sat 14 people, and I poured wine, and it was semi to full on illegal, maybe.
I love it,
dude. We had a
semi to full on illegal, maybe.
Yeah, and so
I love it.
We had a patio that was outdoor, like it's hard to explain, but it was big. And then like my neighbors are here, and I'd have to warn them I'm having guests over tonight.
I'm doing the thing.
But I have like the Camp Chef burners with the propane. I have a propane burner with like 3 burners for my. If I deep fry, I would do it out there. I had a Bichaton charcoal, which is a Japanese. If you don't know what that is, it's a Japanese charcoal grill. Bichaton charcoal burns very hot and clean, and it's just this remarkable cooking technique.
Okay.
So we had that rocking. I got a deep fryer going. I'm running in and out. There's 14 guests. Tablescapes. It was and shout out to my fiance Stephanie again, because she would do these beautiful tablescapes, and the table was just like, I tried not to make it pretentious. It was very relaxed. We had a lot of fun. But dude, that has been one of the most fun, amazing. And for being from here, not knowing anybody, to have the city embrace me. Yeah,
that's cool.
I love Idaho for that. I mean, they didn't have to embrace me. Who am I? I'm not from there. But they, so much has come out of that. We've done a ton of charities, a bunch of fundraising stuff, and no rules. Because when you work for a restaurant, normally you have to report to somebody. The owner might say, look, you got to keep the chicken piccata on the menu. We can't take the chicken parm off. You're cooking food usually for somebody. You have guardrails. This was full on no rules,
off the
baby.
Rails, bro.
No rules. I finally got to cook my food.
That's cool. Good for you, man.
So that's been a wild ride.
Was that like fun. The first time that you really felt like, hey, I can finally really do me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. As a chef, it was the first, because I never, one of the things.
This was what, like 4 years ago? Because it was your first year out there.
Our last dinner was last July or August.
Oh, but you started like a year out there when you were first out there, but you ran it for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
right?
Yep, and almost consistently. So every month would be a 2-dinner weekend.
That's cool.
And yeah,
so you really found your vibe.
Yeah, I mean, my whole career was working for restaurants, and I was either working for a chef, and even if I was the chef, I was still with those guardrails. I mean,
Did you always feel handcuffed?
A bit, yeah. And when you have no rules, that's where your creative outlet, or your creativity is able to
Yeah, you don't realize what you're capable of, I think, until you sort of, I don't know if this is the right wording, but I'm just going to say it, throw yourself to the wolves.
My best dishes, like people always ask, like, what's your signature? What's this? What's that? My best dishes, I feel like, came out of that because I did a lot of R&D. So I was like a psychopath with it. I would write the menu and I would prepare the dishes and I would tweak them and I would just it wouldn't just be write the menu, let's go cook the food. So I was like in this mode of a 3 to 4 week process for one dinner, for one menu. Mm-hmm. And then like the biggest thing for me is because I was supposed to be a pastry chef. I flipped a coin outside the bursar office, I think is what you call it. Because all my buddies were like, you got to be in the culinary. You don't want to be with the girls over in pastry. But my heart was I was always pastry. And so with the pop-up supper club, I heavily leaned into elevating the pastry program. Like we did some amazing pastries.
So wait, hold on. So you said you literally stood outside that office. Were you just by yourself?
I was with Charlie Maratea and some other kid. I don't even know his name.
So like this was your decision to switch, right? So you just said, I'm just going to flip a coin and just whatever.
Yeah, because I'm like, guys, I'm thinking pastry. So my roommates in college too, this might be something to touch on maybe. When I went to CIA, my roommates ended up being like the most New York Italian Indies you could ever. Charlie Maratea.
So they were the ones telling you that they had better pizza, weren't they? Were they?
I don't know, maybe. But these guys were just so Staten Island Italians.
Yeah.
Sal, my other roommate, Sal's father's a certified master baker on Staten Island. He has a world-renowned pastry shop. But yeah, I was with the coin. I was with Charlie, and he was egging me to be he wanted me to be in culinary because you have two choices: baking and pastry or culinary. And I was just like, let the world decide, let the universe decide.
No shit.
But the pastry game. So that also allowed me to really open up the books, do the research, do the homework, and do some really French fundamental / again, globally inspired dessert program. Like the best dish I think we did is all those menus. I don't even know how many menus we did. We never served the same dish twice out of 3 years.
Wow.
Ever.
That's impressive.
Never. Yeah. Except for one, the panna cotta. The pistachio panna cotta over nougatine angel food cake with compressed strawberries and a strawberry like compote or whatever you want to call it.
I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds good.
You basically roast the strawberries until they get so not burnt, but like almost dark and caramelized, and the sugars come out and they're really gummy. And then you pulverize that with citrus juice or like lemon zest and a little like some kind of sugar maybe. And that dessert is just, I'm proud of that one. I don't say the word proud often. I'm grateful, proud. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
That's the best piece of food we put on a plate. I think.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know a lot of this.
I get fired up when I talk about food.
No, you could tell. Yeah. No, and that's, I'm so glad. First of all, I'm just really grateful that we actually really fully connected for this. I remember we reached out a while back. Like, hey, I'm coming home. I was like, yo, hey, shoot me a text. Remind me like when you're in town, like, hopefully we can link up, whatever. And you did. And we pulled it off. We made it happen. I'm glad we did, man. Thanks for making the time to come in, first of all. Yeah. But yeah, man, there's obviously like we've known each other, but I didn't know like all of this in depth about you, and it's really impressive. I have to say, like it really, really is. Obviously, like I do love food. I mean, who doesn't love food, right? But mostly chips. But
chips,
but
man.
yeah, mostly chips. But yeah, man, like I really love having people on the show that are like obsessed about what they do. And like and I mean this in like a good, healthy way. I mean, maybe sometimes it could be unhealthy, but it doesn't matter. It's like you're really good at what you do, and it's because you're obsessed about it. And it's funny, you use the word psycho, because I use the word psycho about myself all the time too. I tell people like I'm like a psycho with stuff I do, right? But it's just because I absolutely love it, and like I want it to be really fucking good.
Yeah,
like that's just it. Like I really, really, really love it, and like and I could tell it's the same for you. So like I like when you're in here and you're talking about this stuff, man, like, it fires me up just to have a conversation like about even though it's about like everything you're doing. Like I'm excited about it because you're excited about it. And, you came in here like with this energy, like about, the the food and just everything that you do. And it's just, I don't know, man. I think it's just the energy. It's contagious. And I think, I think when people hear this and watch this, like they're going to be fired up. I really do. I mean, just hopefully it'll in some way, shape or form, it'll inspire somebody to, maybe do something different, break the rules, try something different, maybe flip a coin, who knows?
Yeah. You gotta do.
Like you've taken a lot of chances, man.
Yeah.
Not many people would do that. Like you've taken a lot.
Yeah. Just getting in U-Hauls and driving to cities you never been to live for.
Yeah, like that. It's crazy, but I mean,
people say like people like often when they hear that they go, "Wow, you took like." I don't look at it like that.
Which is cool.
I wasn't afraid at all.
Yeah, which is great.
I have this like I don't know if I'm blind to it, or numb to it. But
I have to use the word like naive. I always tell the story.
There you go.
Yeah, like you're naive to it. Like I tell a story like when I started this 5 years ago. It's funny. It's crazy to say this is 5 years old. The brand is 6 years old, but the show itself is only 5 years old. But everybody always asks me, like, when I first started, like, you look at everything I have now, like, when you first walked in, you're like, oh, man, like, holy shit, this is, like, really impressive. Like, it's really cool, like, everything, right? It's like, okay, yeah. But, like, most people, with the exception of maybe you and some other people, that know me, don't really know me from, or don't, the newer, I'll say, viewers and listeners don't maybe know the very beginning and, like, what things used to look like or sound like, right? But I always say, like, when I first started, man, if I did too much homework on like trying to figure out how to get started and just had to like, if I Googled too much, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. You know why? Because I would have talked myself out of it. And I use the word naive. It's kind of like how you said, like you, what was the word you said about yourself? You're, like you were going into, like you weren't scared, like you, and I forget what you said, but then I was like, you kind of just went into it naive. And I mean that in a good way. Like, when you hear that word, a lot of times it has like a bad connotation, but I mean that in a good way, because I think you have to, because if you're going to like want to try to do something new, go somewhere new, move, take a chance, do this job, don't do that, whatever it is in life, like professionally or even personally, like if you have this idea of whatever it might be, and if you sit there and like ponder about it too much or look it up online or ask too many people's opinions, you're going to talk yourself out of it. Well, first of all your family and friends are probably going to talk you out of it. Number one, it's just the way it is. I don't mean you personally, but I just mean like in general, like often your family and friends are, they're always looking out for your best interest, right? So like they want to make sure you're not going to make a big mistake of doing that or taking this chance, whatever. And that's great, right? I mean, it means people care about you. But at the same time, a lot of times, like when I have like a new idea or whatever it is, like a lot of times, like I don't share stuff anymore with a lot of people, because when I do, like they're just like, not that they're negative, but they start like throwing things at you that then you start second guessing yourself.
Their opinions and
yeah. And then like, and it does affect you. No matter what anyone wants to try to say, it does affect you to a degree, to the point that you might talk yourself out of it. So like I said, like when I started this, I went into this so naive, and I'm glad I did. I went into it so naive, not realizing how much work it was going to be. And I'm glad I did, because if I didn't do that, I never would have done it. If I knew how much work it was going to take to get to where I got right now, I never would have done this. And it's the same with you. Like if you knew like all the shit that you were going to be in for, I mean, like, yeah, maybe like you said, you still would have done it because you don't know any different, right? Like you just take the chances, you take the risk, you just say, fuck it. Like I'm just going. Like how hard can it be? Like that's how I look at everything too. I'm like, how hard can it be? Some other people do it. Like how hard can it be? But I think just the average person doesn't think like you and I. You know what I mean? Like they just look at it like, and this is where I use the word obsessed or psycho. I'm just like, I'm a psycho. I'm like, I'll just figure it the fuck out. I don't care. Like, I just don't care what it takes. I'll just do it. And most people just don't have that drive, I guess, or passion.
Yeah.
Obsession, whatever you want to call it. Right.
I think I've gotten really self-aware too in the last however many years.
Yeah.
I've gotten really self-aware, and doing the supper club, like, cause I work full time, and I absolutely am grateful, and I am very lucky to be with an awesome artisan bread company, and I'm able to travel and work with operators and chefs, and it's a product I've many years loved before I even ever had a thought of ever working for them. You know what I mean? So like I work full time, to be clear, and keeps me very busy, but like having the ability to, people say like scratch that itch or whatever. Like being able to do a supper club, a pop-up, or just even
like you said, off the rails, like,
or even the content thing. Like when I fire up the camera and turn the lights on and I'm just so stoked about whatever recipe I'm having fun with, I need that. That's healthy for me.
You do. You really do. And otherwise, like you'll lose your mind.
Yeah. And I've been with, like, as far as like my professional career in my, I call it my day job or whatever, which is, I could more consider it career. I've been with companies that I had issues, like they, whatever they were. I don't mean to open a can of worms.
No,
but
I get it, man. Like, and it's like, it's just because, like you said, there's too many guardrails, and like it's not for you.
I think it's a missed opportunity too. Like for, with social media, like the stuff I do on the side, if it's like pop-ups, farmers markets, social media, supper club, like that is making me a better employee. It's making me a better person. I need that. Like if you take that away from me, it's just,
you're going to become like this, like boring, like miserable, like you're stuck in like a box. And us rule breakers don't stay in the box. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't. You just can't. Literally. Like you said, like you'll just go down a really bad path probably. However that looks like. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I get that, man. Like it's like you have to do these things.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
We stopped.
Exciting, man.
We're going to fire another one up. I want to do another one. But the nice thing is I can do it whenever I want.
Yeah.
We're not a restaurant.
Yeah. You're not tied to anything. Like,
yeah,
that's cool. Sorry. So, but before we end, if anyone, so you're thinking that this might be available to buy within like what you said, 4 weeks or so?
Yeah, I'm literally on YouTube.
Is this website? Is this
it's not, if you go on there right now, it's probably a
chefdust.store.
.store, and it'll probably be a landing page.
But by the time this comes out, it'll probably be live.
Yeah,
maybe?
hopefully.
You said, I forget what you said before. Is this where you're going to be selling it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chefdust.store.
.store. And like every day I'm on YouTube, like how to set up a Shopify. Because I just want it to look like, who does a great job? Graza olive oil. And I use them for inspiration along with a lot of other websites. But what they did with their website is like, I'm taking a lot of inspiration from that clean, simple video visuals. And I just want you to go there and maybe there's recipes.
Yeah.
Because that's really helpful for folks.
For sure.
But I want it to be super easy. Like, boom, here's the flavors. Here's how to use them. Some sexy imagery. But anyway, I don't know. It's my first, like anything, dude.
Yeah. Hey.
It's a lot of work, but you figure it out.
Yeah, don't think about it. Just do it.
And Shopify is pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go on Fiverr and maybe like hire someone else to do it.
Sure.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it should be fired up. Soon, guys.
Chef Dust.
The other flavors are ready too.
Are they?
But
you want to make sure you get this trial and error.
Yeah.
Work out the kinks of all that.
Well, and when I place a PO for these jars, it's a minimum. So if I have 3 other flavors, it's 2 other POs.
Yeah.
And now you're,
Yeah.
But we have to figure out names though, because the yellow chicken is what the kids call it. I don't know what to call this spice.
Let them help you with it, man.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But it's fire. I'm excited for this mostly, but it'll be interesting to see what other blends we can come, because the recipes are there, but like it'll be interesting to see them come to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it, man. I'm gonna be following extra closely along now.
The biggest thing, what the biggest challenge is with this? This has been very challenging to produce. The other ones are going to be easy because a lot of the stuff is already pulverized.
Okay.
The biggest thing with this is the fresh grinding. When you look at pepper in the store in general, like if you're not going to do this with the pepper grinder, most of it's like, it's almost like die cut. It's like too perfect. It's stale. It's been sitting around. Like I will not use pre-ground pepper. I just can't, because I use black, pink, green, and white.
I know there are that many colors.
Yep, 4. And when you take them, and a lot of times when you buy the mix already, those 4 peppers, usually you buy them and they're already mixed up, but the percentages are off. There's too much black. There's not enough green. There's not enough pink.
So you do it all yourself?
Everything's in green. Yeah, it's measured out to a certain ratio.
Sure.
There's 2 other ingredients. I'm not going to tell you that. I can't.
Of course.
I can't. I want to, but I can't. But they're basically all put together and grind through a mill. And it comes out like espresso. So it has a little coarse texture, but it's not like too big or whatever. And I think we should take that pepper we're putting in this and sell it as a separate SKU, because black pepper with the 4 different pepper flavors, like, dude, you crack that open with, instead of the fresh ground pepper is great, but like, if we could, I'm just going off on a tangent now with all these ideas. But
I love it. Yeah. All right, dope. Well, I'm gonna let you know. Like I said, I'm gonna throw that in some sauce and some other things that we do. My wife cooks more than I do, but this inspired me now, and is gonna kickstart me to make some more food, because I want to do it as much as I could. Just say here, give this to her and throw this in. So I want to do it myself, so I could take a picture of my shitty looking food and send it to you.
Yeah.
And throw it on some chips or something.
No, let me know if you have any recipes,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I should have said this. I know we got to wrap up here, but
yeah,
I'm on my way here. My uncle had to give me a ride this morning to the rental. He's like, Bill Corcoran. He's like, that's our cousin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was gonna say this before. Yeah, but yeah, we're related.
We're technically related.
You knew that, right?
I knew that, but I
know. We never really talked about it.
I know.
Dude, you know what's even crazier? I almost brought the family tree with me.
Okay.
I have one. It's
wow.
this thick. You guys are in it.
Well, my Uncle George said that my great grandfather's mother was a Corcoran or something like that.
Yeah, somebody in your family. I'm not good with like the names and the who's where, but I'm not exaggerating when I say that the family tree is this thick. I'm not kidding. I have it, and there's still some missing links here and there, but for the most part, it's built out pretty well. It's built out all the way back to Ireland, by the way.
Oh, wow.
If you want a copy of it, let me know. I'll get you a copy.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah. I mean, does your family even know that we even have this?
I don't know. I know George asked me what I was doing. I told him, and that's where he went out to mention that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll have to share it with you. I have a digital copy of it.
Well, my family is all my mother's grandmother's side. Like my father's side.
Yeah.
I have a whole family I don't even know.
Yeah, right.
That's a whole nother story, by the way. But
I love it, yeah.
When I refer to my family, all the family on my father's side, including him, are non-existent. Okay. So I only know, which makes my personal family a little smaller, obviously,
right?
Because it's just the uncles and the cousins and stuff like that. Yeah. My mother and all that. But anyway,
but I didn't know that there is a Corcoran, right? Like I knew, I like I said, I always forget, and I couldn't even tell you right now. Like I don't know who's who or where they fall or what generation, and even the family tree. Even when I look at it, it's confusing. It's kind of confusing. It is. I mean, it's also like 100 pages or something, so it's crazy. But it does make sense, and it's very well done, very well put together.
Yeah, that's
so
dope.
I will just give me your email after. I'll definitely share it with you. You'll have to share it with your family too, dude. Like it'll probably, honestly, if they've never seen this, it'll blow their minds.
Oh wow,
dude, I'm not kidding. It's insane how many. And it'd be crazy if we give it to you and there's, like I said, there might be still some missing links. I mean, like people or names, and there might even be some things like spelled wrong or whatever, like dates that might be slightly off. It has everybody's born dates, death dates, like everyone, like literally everyone, man. Like it's insane, like how many people are in this thing. It goes back to like the 1800s in Ireland.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know why, I didn't mention this earlier too. I meant to, but I feel like if I did, we would just go off on like a half-hour tangent that nobody would give a shit about except for like us talking about this. So I figured I was like, I'll just mention to him after and tell him about it. But yeah, man, I know where we are related, like somehow, some way, somewhere, along the line. Yeah. So.
Dude, I want to bring this to Idaho. I want to do this.
Yeah,
you inspired me.
Yeah, man. Let me know, man. I'll help you. I'll give you some pointers. And like I said, don't think about it.
I want to copy about it. Dude, I want to copy and paste. Obviously, make it my own and not not copy like that.
Dude, I don't give a shit. Copy the whole damn thing. I don't care.
But I want to do a setup like this. I think this would be fun. I don't know who I'm going to bring on. I don't know how I'm going to get guests, but it'd be fun to turn on some microphones and bring some people and talk, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, seriously. Let me know if you ever need help with it. I'd be glad to give you some pointers with it, man. I like I said, I mean, I'm obviously obsessed with this. So, happy to point you in the right direction, man. You just let me know. But yeah, man, this is great. Like I said, I'm super freaking stoked about this. I'm excited for you to launch it. Like I said, hopefully by the time that this episode comes out, you guys probably should be up and running or very, very, very close. And if you're not, just, do you have any social for this yet or anything? Any social accounts?
We have the handles, but
you're not very active yet.
Yeah, right now we're doing all the content.
But where can people find you? Like worst case, like if
Chef Merrick, is my Insta. Chef Merrick on most, TikTok is my biggest followed platform.
Yep.
Family Meal Boise actually has more followers than Chef Merrick, which I'm not mad at. But Family Meal Boise, there's that Family Meal Boise. Since I'm in Idaho, is all my people in that area follow me there. They don't. Chef Merrick, there's more PA folks that follow me there, so it's kind of a weird. Yeah. But I try to stay active on both. We were waiting on the jars to film content and take photos. We needed product.
Makes sense. Yeah.
We didn't have the artwork, but now we just got the artwork. So now it's like stock photos.
Yeah. Now you can pull some clips from here. I'll get you some clips from here, man.
We're gonna go from zero to hero. Like the Chef Dust official is the handle for all the social.
Okay.
So that's going to go from no activity to
blow up.
Bonkers. Yeah.
I love it.
And I'm not worried about followers, but the content will be there shortly.
Yeah. You're going to have like a freaking whole library ready to rock. That's exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to have some fun.
Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy the your Millsworth plain chips, by the way, while you're in town.
Yes, sir.
And obviously enjoy the wedding. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on. Jonathon Merrick, this is the On the Stacks podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, brother.
If you want to see more On the Stacks content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/On the Stacks podcast, or search the hashtag On the Stacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.